want to talk to you just for a moment today about a missionary named Hudson Taylor. You may or may not be familiar with him, but many years ago, he was a missionary in China. And he had a desire, of course, to see people saved and to see God's kingdom expanded. That's why he ever went to China. But he worked so hard in the ministry and trying to see people saved that he began to have some serious health problems, and he just really was experiencing burnout. Well, as he was at about his lowest low, he received a letter from a friend. And the friend was sharing with Hudson a discovery that he had made in his own life based on something Jesus said in John chapter 15. And of course, in that chapter, Jesus talked about abiding in him. And that's where he gave the analogy. He said, I'm the vine, you're the branches. If you'll abide in me and I in you, you're going to bear much fruit. And so Hudson Taylor's friend was saying, I have discovered that in life, we don't have to strive, we don't have to struggle, we don't have to be stressed out. All we have to do is abide in Jesus. And that word abide simply means to stay connected to. And we do that by trusting in Jesus. In fact, Hudson Taylor's friend said that he had learned to trust Jesus for present power. Now, most of us know what it is to trust Jesus for our salvation and for the forgiveness of our sins. But to trust Jesus for present power means that whatever we're going through in life, in that moment, on that day, when the demands are great, we trust God to give us the strength that we need to face those challenges. And so when Hudson Taylor read that letter, something happened in his heart, and he knew that God was speaking to him through his friend. And so he said in that moment that he completely changed how he looked at the ministry and how he looked at serving God. And he said, no more, I'm paraphrasing what Hudson Taylor said, but he said, no more am I going to strive and struggle and let myself get worn down and stressed out. Instead, he said, what I'm going to do is abide in Jesus. I'm going to trust in him to give me strength each day, and not only each day, but for each moment of each day. And as he began doing that, he said that he found Jesus Christ to be 10,000 times greater than he had ever imagined him being. And he went on to say that at this particular time in his life, he was probably working harder than he had ever worked, and the demands of his job were greater than they had ever been. And yet, here's what he said. He said the weight and the strain of all that he was doing was gone. See, that's the secret of abiding in Jesus. And in fact, that became so important in Hudson Taylor's life. And as that story began to be told, that became known as Hudson Taylor's spiritual secret, abiding in Jesus. And so today, maybe you're kind of feeling just worn out, burnt out. Here, this coronavirus is still dragging on. And even though we're trying to get back to normal, things are just not quite normal yet. And you couple that with all the other things that are going on in the country, and it's just so much anger and so much hatred and so much injustice and so many things that are happening that are just not right, and it's just so sad. And it can just overwhelm us. Or maybe for you, it's not so much those things today. Maybe you just feel the weight and the strain of family responsibilities, or maybe you feel the weight and the strain of work responsibilities. Or here I'm giving a devotional and my phone is ringing, and so I feel the responsibility to keep talking to you and go answer the phone. But I'm going to keep talking to you and I'll get to the phone later. I want to say to you today that if you will abide in Jesus, trust in him in the present moment for whatever it is that you're facing right now, he will lift the weight and he will lift the strain and he will give you a peace in your work and in your life. So Hudson Taylor's spiritual secret can be your spiritual secret too, if you and I both can learn to trust Jesus, not only for our salvation, but for the responsibilities that we have each day. So I hope that's encouraging to you today, and I hope it's a blessing, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.